Things was never fair. I'd rather be this starving artist, experience life now at its farthest. One blue sky, we are under, torn and shred now, ripped asunder. The politics, war and famine. I thank God I'm still here jamming. Train your mind.
Number 6.
Yeah. I thought there was a yard sale or something.
I have no clue.
You have no clue.
Nope.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have a nice day. That was odd. I thought that guy was gonna pull a gun on me and tell me to get in his van with him. Next thing you know, I was gonna be wearing some skanky leather outfit doing his bidding. Well, that's not how I intended to open this video, but it did kind of go down the perverted route, which I was intending on going down a sexual route for this video initially, but not that facet of sexuality. I was going to talk today about astrology and how much actually goes into making us who it is that we are, who we become, how we act. And a lot of mainstream scientists really downplay the actual impact that the time in which you're born, the way things are laid out, has an influence on your life. You know, people might not say that, oh, you know, the way that the constellations are set up during the moment of your conception has a lot to do with the picture of your life. But what they're not taking into consideration is that the moon is the primary cause for the rise and fall of the tides on the planet Earth. So you don't think that cosmic events actually have a greater part to play in the whole movement of your life itself. I mean, if something as insignificant as the moon can have a huge impact on what goes on here on Earth, you don't think that the tides actually have an impact as to what it is that you might experience during your life? And so the initial alignment, which you yourself were a part of, is actually greatly influenced by these things. Now, how does this relate to sexuality? Well, we're talking about conception here. So obviously there was a moment of sexuality for you to be conceived. As far as my own knowledge reaches, I am not yet aware of somebody being created through an artificial womb as of yet. I'm not saying that it's not a possibility in hidden underground scientific cults, but as far as I myself am aware of, I am not aware of that yet happening. So there was a moment of sexuality, and this moment of sexuality ultimately resulted in you being here. We can try and cover up and mask up and, say that things are either immoral to talk about, or in talking about things in such a lay mannerism, we're making things that are sacred non-sacred. And I don't think that that's necessarily true. I mean, a lot of people like to create sacred and holy places within their lives. But I think that we should just go around and treat everything as sacred and holy. If everybody treated all ground as sacred and holy, and not just the central point within a system, then the entire system itself would reflect what we believed or held most sacred. But that doesn't mean not talking about things because it's taboo. So anyways, how are some ways in which the moment of your conception actually has a greater part to play in the part that you'll play within your life? Well, there's a certain gestation period within your birth, and the time in which you're born will tell us the time in which you were first conceived. And in your conception will be a lot of underlying notions. If we dive deeper into the picture, we're going to see a lot of, pixels that we wouldn't otherwise notice if we're looking at it from a distance. And so you have your parents participating in intercourse, and the time in which they actually participate in intercourse, which allows your conception, tells us a lot about their life. It tells us when it is that they have time to participate in such activities, because sex is kind of like a bystander to fulfilling the other requirements of, societal requirements, giving you the ability, showing that you're fit, and showing the rest of the world that you're fit to actually procreate in the first place. And so this time in which you're conceived will tell a lot about your conception itself and the people that conceived you. It may tell us their job, what their lifestyle is like. That's going to play a huge factor in the environment that you're born into. The signs themselves may ultimately tell other people what your sign says. A sign is merely something which tells us what's going on. If we look at street signs, and the sign of your conception in astrological terms is going to tell us a lot about what's going on in your life. One of the biggest places that we see this factor into is in regards to sports. And I'm sure it factors into other things such as academia and possibly other facets and interests in regards to the many areas of knowledge and life as well. But we see it most influentially in athletics, or at least that's where it seems to be most prominent and observable. Because a lot of athletics have cutoff dates in regards to the age in which individuals can participate in them. It's going to influence the age in which you're placed in your educational system. It's going to influence all these factors. You may either be playing up with people that are of a greater age than you, possibly influencing the size of these individuals. You may be playing down with individuals that are smaller than you due to the date in which you were conceived. And we're going to see this play a huge factor, or factor in very greatly into your life. And this isn't the only way in which this factors in. I mean, we're so programmed today, and it's almost as if the, ever-flowing electrical current of life teaches us much more than we give it credit to, rather than other things that we give credit to teaching. I mean, everything's an electrical current anyways, but the boob tube on the television truly does shape our lives. And these things follow a lot of air dates. The moments seasons begin, the moments seasons end, what it is that they're talking about when they're talking about it. What's going on in the rest of society at this time, the holidays that are celebrated, you know, the general weather. All of this stuff is going to factor into what makes you, you. And in this, utilizing the knowledge of mainstream science, we have now shown how astrological signs definitely play an important role and an important part into who it is that you are. Now, I do think that a lot of those, you know, astrologists or people of that nature, you know, they get into a lot of self-fulfilling prophecies where it's like you throw a little bit of negative into a prophecy, you throw a little bit of positive into a prophecy, and then you assign any positive thing that happens to the positive thing in the prophecy, and then you assign any negative thing that happens to the negative thing in the prophecy. This goes beyond those simple little prophecies. This is more so telling you about categorizing you within a group based upon when those individuals in your group were also conceived. And in doing, we're going to gain greater insight as to the group as a whole in regards to the personality, the characteristics, the behaviors, and everything in between and beyond. So the next time that you see something of an astrological nature and it's purporting something, read into it. Take into consideration, looking at it from a scientific point of view, allowing the mystic to coincide with the scientific, and looking at the story as though there's hidden meaning within it. I can read Dr. Seuss, and yeah, it's the biggest crock pot of lies that, you know, somebody could ever come up with. But it holds a lot of truth. What the story is telling us parallels what goes on in real life. And that's why we identify with many stories, no matter how false it is that they appear on the outside. The ones in which we truly praise are the ones which parallel a lot of the aspects of life that we experience ourselves. And in this, look for truth beyond the makeup, beyond the costume, beyond the guise of mysticism, which merely is trying to sell something. There might be something there actually worth gleaning, but you'll never know if you merely crumple it up and throw it in the trash. And so this little portion of the day is going to lead me into an exercise about my history. Like I said before, what makes us us is such a complex diagram. There are so many factors involved that it's, you know, hard to truly try and conceive every single aspect and facet which goes into the actual art of making somebody somebody. You know, no matter how ancient my ancestors are, every single act that they did is in a sense recorded within their genetic material. You know, their socioeconomic status is reflected within their genetic and molecular makeup. The places in which they lived is reflected within their morphological and phenotypical features, because supposedly it gave them a greater advantage in regards to the environment they found themselves in. And obviously they were successful enough to pass on what it was that they were carrying, because I'm here at this moment. So today I'm going to be investigating my genetic heritage. I'm going to be going back further than documented records of written text allows us to go, by looking for the written text within the chemical code of life itself. So I'm going to be utilizing a company called 23andMe, and I have participated in their study. I have received the equipment that they sent, which is pretty much a spit tune, and you spit into this vial, and then they're going to pretty much sequence your genome, and then, you know, tell you a lot of different things about where you come from, what you're made up of. And this kind of transition into a lot of videos that I've spoken of in the past, where, you know, it's like subconsciously we know everything. It's like our body knows the most advanced things without us being aware of it, in regards to mathematics, chemistry, physics, you know, all of those. Literally our body functions off of the pinnacle of the peaks representing the maximum in regards to these areas of knowledge themselves, but I'm not consciously aware of it. And you know, this is the same in regards to my genetic makeup as well, but now I'm going to consciously be able to look upon this information and data by utilizing, you know, advanced technological feats of the past decade. So I hope you all enjoy looking at what it is that I'm made up of. Here's my body, so you can like, yo, that's me. And we're gonna see why it is that I look this way here in a little bit. All right, everybody, I'll see you when I'm pulling all the documents up on the screen.
Beep, boop, bop, beep. Computer is now starting up. Loading screen. Allocating processes. Begin sequence now.
We're gonna sign in. Yep. We're gonna sign in. This is a very detailed step-by-step process, folks.
Alright, so yeah, let's go in here and let's sign in and let's go in and see what it looks like. Well, let's forget our password, why don't we? Okay, now we got the password going. Let's go in, let's set up my profile. Alright, that's not my name, that's just a made-up fictional character that I like to see myself as. Now let's go in, let's review some data so that we can get some correct data in regards to what it is that I'm made up of.
Complete your health profile. Wow. Very good. Have you smoked at least 100 cigarettes? No.
No. No. No. Every day. Once a day. Never. 5 foot 11 inches. 155 pounds. Whoops. Accidentally yes. That was meant to be a no. 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 No.
My low density lipoproteins? I don't know.
Everything I'd wanna say yes to ain't here. I see no's every day. So why don't you give me something good to put down, and I'll say, yeah, yeah, yeah. I won't say yes, no way. Not because I don't want to, because it doesn't apply. I won't say yes, no way. Oh wait, here's a yes. Alright, yeah, I'll put yeah right here. That definitely applies to me. I definitely fall into that categorization. This is definitely a symptom I have. Alright, yep, let's put yes right here. Okay, but we're back to no's. I don't see anything that I would like to put yes for. Not necessarily that I'd like to put yes, I mean that I should put yes because I'm trying to give good data here. I'm not just trying to be, you know, putting down what it is that I'd like to see myself as. I'm putting down what I am.
Jeez, how many of these are there? Whoops. I've never been tested for any of that, but it's no, people. That was an accidental yes. I'm not infertile. Jeez. Have you ever been diagnosed with or treated for any other condition not yet mentioned? Yes. Overactive imagination. Okay.
Jesus, it's like I'm paying to participate in some scientific study.
Jeez. You've answered more questions than 94% of 23andMe participants. Wow.
Participants.
What the?
Subliminal corrections.
Okay, I'm not going to keep contributing. If I've already done more than 94%, that's some good data, folks. I laid it all on the line. It says I have more Neanderthal than 64% of people. You DNA basics, traits. Likely little upper back hair. Dun 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 dun. Alcohol flush reaction. Likely to consume more. Deep sleep, not determined. Muscle composition, common and elite power athletes. Sleep movement, likely average or less movement. Yeah, I guess not a mix of like everything, but what shows up: British, Irish, French and German, Scandinavian, broad Northwestern European. Let's see here. Southern European 1%, showing Iberian, and just other portions of Southern European. And then it's showing East Asia and Native American. And then it's showing Oceanian. I mean, you never know, you know, like, who knows, like, how long ago somebody traveled over there and...
Well, some people had legitimate kids and...
Yeah, like met somebody or they traveled across the world and just had a family somewhere, you know, or whatever. Like, yeah, that definitely kind of seems out of place, but... there you have it.
Train your mind, now hear my words. Twitter pated little birds. If you've kept up with all my posts, then your life's just like a ghost, already dead in the machine. The screen and life, one's in between.